All right, today I'm joined by legendary rapper, producer, and DJ, The Large Professor. How we doing?
Oh man, everything's good, man. Just right here, man, getting busy.
Excellent. So we're living in crazy times, 2021. I'm hoping we're towards the end of this coronavirus pandemic thing, the new normal, whatever that is. But I want to know,
Yeah,
what is The Large Professor up to in 2021?
I just recently, yesterday, just completed a new song for Papoose. Got a new project with my man Nick the Exotic. I'm doing called Extra Exotic. Just production galore. Got an instrumental project coming out, compilation. It's always work, man. Always work. Like pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, I'm just always getting busy.
Nice. I was just listening to some of your instrumentals yesterday. They're very relaxing. When I'm taking a walk, they're very relaxing to listen to. Is that kind of a goal, or what goes into that?
Uh, some of them are relaxing, some of them will rile you up.
Yeah.
It's just whatever the creative mode was for that day, man. I just roll with it, man. But I always just try to keep it hip hop. That's all.
For sure. Now, before we get into some of your classics in the beginning of your career, I do want to acknowledge we've lost some absolute legends in a very short period of time. DMX, Black
Mm.
Rob, Just Shock G. It's
Yeah,
absolutely heartbreaking for me as a fan. I mean, I couldn't imagine how it is for you being in the hip hop game.
yeah, man. It's crazy for me because these are my peers, and even though I dig for records and I'm into like the legends and like a lot of the legends I'm seeing, like the people I consider legends are outliving some of my peers who are supposed to have long, lengthy careers. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a mixed emotion kind of bag for me, man. It's messed up, man. But God bless them brothers, man, definitely.
For sure. Do you think there's any reason why they're dying in their 50s and some of your legends are outliving the ones that should be still alive 20, 30, 40 more years?
Oh man, drugs are different. Not to be on it like that, but
Sure.
it's just different times, man. It's messed up, man. Damn, man, it's like it's really hurtful to see these guys going down in there, and then the industry, the hip hop music industry, kind of chews people up and spits them out. Like so, it's just terrible, man. What's happening? It's terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. It segues kind of to my next point. So when you look at videos of Black Rob and his legacy, I mean this with all due respect, it didn't look like he had a dollar to his name, and there's some talk that hip hop should have a union. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, definitely hip hop should have a union. It should have been established by some of the guys who really made it big. Like, yo, hold on, let me make sure that everyone under is going to be able to be good as well. It just hasn't been established yet, and that is what it is, man. Hip hop is a street culture that really magnified being a street culture early. So I guess the industry didn't really hone in on, all right, well, these guys are part of the industry ultimately, and we need to have the same kind of procedures that we have for the people that the industry treats as legends, the rock guys, the blues guys. But in hip hop is strong willed. So, I just can imagine people in the industry saying like, oh, okay, you guys are tough. Okay, you got it. Okay, all right. Well, you just do what you do, and we'll just keep reaping the benefits of what you do and not provide any kind of anything for you other than that. I just, because it's so strong, it's such a street culture, is just like, oh, well, what do you guys need a union for? You're strong. You come from the streets. You made it. That kind of thing. I don't know. It may have had an adverse, hip hop being so strong, may have had an adverse effect on our industry presence.
It's an interesting point. Now, I'm just a random guy. I'm just a fan. I don't know anything, but is it too much to ask? Before you sign a record deal, you have to invest 25% and you can't touch that for 10 years?
Oh, that would be dope. Yeah, that would be, but that's for someone trying to look out for you. You know, these people not really trying to look out for you like that in the industry. The industry is tough, man, and
Yeah.
especially on the hip hop side. So yeah, but that would be dope though. That would be dope, definitely. That's what lawyers and managers are for. You know, that's where they're supposed to be. But then if this guy is the hip hop manager, the hip hop lawyer, you know, he may not even be, it may just be, okay, how much can we get, and not thinking on that level, you know, definitely.
Sure. What's one other thing that hip hop could improve upon in terms of that?
Man, yeah, I mean, it could be like, since we celebrate in August, like the first Park Jam, the first jam, and you know, like a lot of those guys didn't really, because it didn't start in the industry. That's the thing. They didn't really take those precautions. Like, all right, well, we got to set this up for the dudes that are going to come after us. But I mean, I think it starts there, is empowering some of the OGs like Cool Herc, you know, and stuff like that. Like, I'm sure at this point he would know what to do. You know, I think it just needs to be a fun that one of the OGs knows, like Red Alert, so somebody like that, that they would know they've gotten along in life enough where they didn't need a bunch of money, and they would know now moving forward, this is how we need to do this. You know, it's like we got to empower like the hip hop museum that has come up, you know, someone like yourself with solutions coming in saying, all right, guys, maybe we should do this with this percentage, you know, that kind of thing. Because hip hop people are not thinking about that. You know, percentages is not even something that you would hear in a rap, a rhyme, or DJ scratch, anything. You know, a lot of dudes are just only thinking about the music. So just someone who really cares for the culture just coming in and saying, like yourself, you know, coming in and saying, yo, guys, you know, let's do this and set this up so we make sure that the future generations are good.
So, kind of getting to the beginning of your career, who or what got you into music? Was there a song? Was there a group?
Oh man, for me, it was just the culture in general happening around me naturally. You know, I would go to park jams with my father in the Bland projects in Flushing, Queens. That was just natural, organic things happening. And we didn't, I mean, I didn't think it was going to be like this industry phenomenon. I thought it would just be where it was in the park, something that we did. It's just like a barbecue. It's like, this is something that we do. And so, you know, I just came up in the natural elements of it, uptown, Bronx, all of that, going to see my grandmother up in Harlem, hearing their version, being in Queens, hearing our version, just all natural. Break dancing, went through all of the steps to break dancing, graffiti, you know, tried my hand at all of those, and bang, here we are.
You were a break dancer?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Break dancer, roller skate, yo, all of them, all of them, all of the steps, all of the avenues, definitely. Now, I was down with a crew named Stay Fresh from Flushing. We go to USA roller skating rink in Jackson Heights, and we would battle dudes like from the LES. They had scrambling feet, you know, rock steady, all kinds of dudes. Like, you know, that was early though, when the cameras were off in those days, but everybody was gunning and trying to, you know, get their name, sticking their chests out, trying to get their name known.
Nice. Any chance in 2021 I could see the large professor at a show doing the headstand or a spin?
Nah, not really. I mean, I did post recently on Instagram, me kind of popping, doing the wave and stuff like that. You know, that's, we taking it light these days, man. You know, the music thing is what for my is age appropriate for me right now. Like me breaking my back on stage. Like, nah, we not doing that. Yeah.
So, where did the name Large Professor come from?
That was me, man. It's just a braggadocio kind of, yo, I'll be the large professor of rap kind of thing. You know, you being told all your life, like, get out of here. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing with that. And, you know, you just develop a kind of, I don't know, just a guard. You develop and then it comes with rap. You know, I'll be the high exalted leader of rap. You know, the guys who were good in my time, like you would hear them say things like that. You know, I'm the most high exalted god of rap. You know, yo, and I'm known throughout the land as the Great Sudan, like things like that. And so, you know, if you were of that type, you would just follow suit. And that's where I was with it. I wasn't really into the ignorant side, like, yo, I'll bash you in your head type shit. You know, I was more into like Cool Mo D and dudes who really, you know, have vocabulary and try to elevate and, you know, taught us, you know, so I was more on that tip. So it's definitely self-induced, a self-induced name, Large Professor. But you know, one thing, when I ran it by my father, he was like, "Man, you made yourself a pretty big name there, man. You gonna be around for a while, man. You got some shoes to fill." And you know, I'm like, I got the energy. I'm up for it. So, you know, 30 years later in this career, man, we still at it.
Still at it, yes. So what exactly would you say you mean when you say it's not about the height, it's the power of charge? Kind of what you said, it's about the knowledge and all that?
Oh yeah. Nah, because you know I'm not this tall, big, fat dude or anything. You know, people they think you saying large profession. They think you saying like you this big, monstrous dude, and it's like it's not about the height. It's the power to charge you get when you listen to this lyricist slash beat maker. You know, it's like I've seen people lose their minds off of a beat that I made, like in just the it's a different feeling you get. Like even when we were breakdancing, like you would hear "Give It Up or Turn It Loose" by James Brown, and opposed to the other songs that you would hear, like that song just did something more. Like it did something more for you. It was like, man, yo, I gotta break harder when I hear this. And so that's kind of what I'm equating it to. Is like, yo, the music that I make is it just gives you that power, like, yo, this is that shit, like, yeah, that kind of thing.
Excellent. So you're also known for being a great DJ. What makes a good DJ? Is it your stage presence, your song choice? Is it how you read a crowd?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, in my opinion, song choice is first, because no matter how good you scratch, you could if you playing some bullshit, it's just not no. So it's song choices first. And then just being as nimble as you can with flipping it and whatever style you have. Some guys are good scratchers, some guys are just someone who can elongate a beat for, you know, however long, and you know, it's different styles, but definitely song choice is number one, in my opinion.
Got it. So I was working as a mobile DJ for probably 10 years. Now, I remember there'd be plenty of times where I would be a hot dance crowd. You're playing some good dance music, maybe 50 to 100 people are dancing, and you always have this clown customer that has a terrible request that would ruin the floor. Did you ever run
Right.
into that, and how would you handle that
Oh my
situation?
God, have I? Yeah, man. It's you know, people turn into I don't know what the phrase will be called, but like temporary DJs for a minute. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I know what'll save the party. It's like, why do we need to save the party? It's already rocking. Like,
Look at the
well,
floor.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, what's going on? But it's you know, you got that environment, people drinking, you know, doing different things. So yeah, definitely, man. And it's funny because when I started kind of late with publicly DJing, I could always DJ from day one, but taking gigs and going out. So it was just so bugged to me to have people roll up like drunk females, like, do you have this record? You know, they spitting on you, it's all kinds of stuff. And it's like, wow, this part of this game, I never knew this as part of the game, you know, because we were all like bedroom DJs. It's like, oh, yo, that's ill. Oh, you want to kill him with that one. But, you know, yeah, so that's a crazy dimension of what we deal with as DJs.
Absolutely. I mean, I would always have that customer that knew everything. Oh, everyone's gonna love it. They want to hear Boys to Men after Get Low. I mean, with all due
Yeah,
respect to Boys
man.
to Men, it just, I'll make love to you. It's
Yeah,
probably not going to
yeah.
work after Get
I
Low
mean,
or in the
but
club.
one thing I do is I consider it. Like I will definitely, even if I may be in a mode, I'll consider it to see if I can please the crowd or that one person and say, all right,
Okay.
cool. But if it just doesn't work, it's like, nah, man, get out of here. And I'll tell them like, yo, nah, get out of here with that. Or, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you ever find yourself maybe where you went to a club and you almost want to, like, why is that DJ doing it this way or not that way? Or why is he taking so long between songs?
I try to not judge. I try not to judge. I mean, in the beginning, I may have, especially as a break dancer, because it's like,
Mm.
all right, change the record already. You know, I'm kind of, this energy is waning. Like, please, like, but as a DJ, if I'm or as just a bystander, if I hear a DJ, I kind of let them do their thing. If I know them, I might bug out when like, okay, turn, next record, that kind of thing. But other than that, nah, I play the cut.
Got so it. Also known for legendary producer. For someone that doesn't understand that, what exactly is your job?
In hip hop, producer could mean beat maker, that kind of thing, track, the person who made the track. So yeah, definitely I got, I got everything together on the drum machines and man, just took on that, wear many hats. Like, okay, I got that hat too now too. So, production definitely like thank God to my man Paul C, man. My man Paul C brushed me on the SP1200 early in life. I was working with other machines prior to that, the Casio SK1, the TR-6067, all of these different Rolands, but the SP1200 was really where I flourished because it embodied what we did in the park as far as using records and sampling records and now being able to with control, like loop them up and things like that. So yeah, now that's the best, man. That's the best coming from where I come from with this, definitely.
Nice. So I've heard a lot of producers where they'll say they'll just take records and they'll just listen and listen. Do you do something like that? And what is it that catches your attention that you would want to do a sample?
Yeah, well, I mean, first and foremost, I listen to the records and I love the records. So, sometimes you just get a record and you can hear it right off rip. But for the most part, I absorb the records. Like I have, when I buy records, even to this day, like I'll record the record. It's a beautiful thing now. We can digitally record them into our computers and put them on our phones. And like I can listen to one song for a whole day, like in just one song, just going back. And so it's like I'm absorbing it. So now once I'm making a beat, it's like, yo, that record goes with this and that kind of thing. And I've been doing that for years, like even in the cassette tape days, like just absorbing the sounds and records. And it's just that process is beautiful. I wish everyone could do that because everyone is first being a fan of the music, and then being able to blossom it from there.
And that's why you're the large professor.
Indeed.
Nice. Did you ever have artists maybe fight over a beat? Two people heard it like, oh, yo, I want that or something along those lines?
Yeah, we've had little spats and, but when you think about the origins of hip hop and, like the Jamaican aspect of it, where they have version, where people do different versions of the same record, in hip hop, I think it's even in R&B and blues, like people doing a song over, a remake. It's not something that, I mean, when it was like the Puffy era, it started to become different because he was kind of copying dudes hit records, if you want to say, and it was like there was a law. It was like, well, if that's that guy's hit, don't touch it, unless you want to morph it in some type of way. But for the most part, man, it's just being true to the roots, and it's just version. You just chalk it up to version. It's like, okay, that's your version of it. Nowadays, it's double edged because in the beginning, dudes were beefing about Puff, but then, like these days, it kind of opened it up a little bit more and brought it back to its original roots because it's like, nah, it's just version. He did his version of it, you did yours, and now I can put a record up on Instagram and scratch it up, and people will have like 4 or 5 different records that came from that one record. And it's a good thing that hip hop has done that even for the OGs that made the records.
Okay. So when Puff does, You know, he does the beat and then he actually takes the hook for some of his songs. Is that almost cheating in a way?
See, yeah. See, yeah, that's where now is, but then like these days, it's more understood that it's version. You know, it's version.
Mhm.
It's in hip hop. There, it was like a big originality thing in the beginning.
Mhm.
And as it became more industrialized, it was like a song, like how Benny King would do a Sam Cooke song over or something like, you know, you just chalk it up to that kind of thing once it became industrialized.
Now, the website about.com ranks you at number 13 on the top 25 producers of all time. Do you put stock into that? Is that an honor? Do you think you should be higher? What goes through your head if you see something like that?
I mean, hip hop has broadened throughout the years. And so when you say best hip hop producer, you know, you got to get into the categories and even the credibility of the person or the people making the list. You know, so a lot of those lists don't phase me because you know, I gotta. These are the things I have to do. It's like, all right, well, who is this list coming from? Where? What have they done? What are they? You know, that kind of thing. So
There you
yeah,
go.
exactly. You know, that kind of thing, definitely. So I don't. I used to in the beginning. It used to kind of get to me. It was like, man, I should have been higher, you know. But after a while, and then you see the people, and then you see how they fare throughout time because a lot of these people, the media journalists, like the writers who may have written you a bad review or something, you see like 10, 20 years later where they are, and you're like, see, that shit, you know, so, you know, that kind of thing. So I don't let it get to me. But I'm, you know, given my story where it's like I started this certain way and still using the original techniques of hip hop and keeping it hip hop, I think I deserve to be way up there, man, way up there, high ranks, definitely.
Yeah, a lot of fans, I think they would see that. Okay, 13, that's still a great number, but at the same time, we probably would think you'd be higher. I don't know what the official list
Yeah,
would be, but I
yeah.
agree. Yeah.
Well, but then this is an industry thing. So it's like, you know, the industry thing is another dimension with this, man. It's like, you have your street cred and then you have your industry thing where it's like, oh, they didn't toot this guy as much as they may have tooted Timberland or Swiss
Mhm.
Beats, where now this guy's all over television all day, all night. And so the average person would say, oh, well, he's better than him. But then that person may know deep in his heart, like, no, you want to praise this guy. You know, it's the industry part of it is what causes that divide, in my opinion. Yeah.
Got it. Do you have a favorite artist or a couple favorite artists you produced for?
Man, so many, man, so many. Man, utmost respect for Slick Rick, who I wrote my first rhyme after hearing. You know, Busta Rhymes, just to see his technique in the studio, how he lays his vocals is bananas. I mean, Nas to even curate and like kind of come up, bring him up a little bit, and just to see where he's going. And his style being so respected throughout time. So many. Oh man, so many. Definitely.
Nice. So you brought up Nas. You guys did a record with him live at the barbecue. What made him the right choice to put him on your single?
Going back to that original hip hop recipe, it was just he really just had all of the original aspects that you look for in an MC. You know, it was like, all right, well, are you street enough? Yes, he was covering the streets. Are you humble? Yes, he was. You know, when I was young, I was a fan of the Jackson Five. You know, first and foremost, how the rhymes are the rhymes ABC, or are they a little bit more elevated than that? Like he had some great rhymes. You know, I'm jetting through the building lobby and it was full of kids probably couldn't see as high as I be. You know, do you have ebonics in there? You know what I mean? It's just so many things that he embodied and like that he had in his rhymes that was just like, yeah, man, this guy is ready to go.
Now, did you have any idea of the legend he'd become when you were working with him?
Absolutely, I believed in Nas 100%. Still to this day, like artistry is top notch in my book. It was just, it was like how I felt about my beat making and my artistry. It was like parallel. It was like, nah, this dude is of that type. And he took it and it still is like to this day. And I'm so glad that it was shown upon me that, this is the dude, like that kind of thing. Like I loved it.
Absolutely. Now, I saw you in an interview not that long ago where
Yeah,
I believe it was actually Vlad, and they said Nas was the
yeah,
worst beat picker of all time. You didn't say that, but I believe
yeah, yeah,
Vlad did. What does
Vlad,
that even mean?
Vlad. I mean, the industry can have you reaching for different things, and I don't agree with a lot of the beats that I thought my outlook for him as an artist was totally different from where he took it. Not saying that it was bad, or anything like that, but he went for a more commercial approach. I thought he would have been more relentless with his beat picking. But as the songs have fared through time, I'm like, yo, nah, that one was actually good. Whereas I'm like, don't let up off. Make sure everything is heat. Like everything has to be heat. That kind of thing, But yeah, things happen. Things happen, man. It's the industry. So if you really want to be a competitor in this game, you got to kind of be able to move with it like that. So, I'm happy he was able to translate even in those. Like he did a good job with translating over those kind of beats. So yeah, nah, it's all good.
Sure. Is there a song you can use as an example where you're like, I wish you would have a different beat for this particular song?
Oh man, so many, man. I mean, I always tell the story about One Mic, how originally like I wasn't rocking with One Mic. Like I was like, nah. And that was around the time when Jay-Z was going at him. So I
Yep.
thought that he needed to be a little bit more like relentless with the beats. Like, yo, come on, let's get him. And over time, I understood it was like the dynamics of his voice. He's going from soft to loud, that kind of thing. But like one might, but then it also opened my mind to it. Now I have I don't know, it's a description of a type of song. It's called like the after work. I always call them though. That's like an after work kind of
Okay.
tune. It's a little bit, it's not like extreme hip hop, but it's something like you can see like at a happy hour in a bar that will be playing in the background and people will be able to stay smooth. It's not something that you gotta hone in on and say like, yo, no, that's ill, that kind of thing. So it helped me to grow, but that's one of them. I mean, there's not that many, but that's one of them that I was like, ah.
Okay. One Mike's a great example because a lot of us, when we were hearing it, we're huge Nas fans. I don't say we didn't like it first, but we never heard anything like it where it was high and he was low. We're just like,
Yeah.
what is this?
And
So it
then
took a little
it
growing.
kind of, yeah, it made him as a MC seem kind of vulnerable. Like, like it was like, like he was rapping like it was like, who is this for? Like, who is this for? Because we're just used to like in the hallways, like, yo, son, that kind of thing. And so now you hear this like kind of like flower kind of thing, like, and then it blossoming. Yo, I don't care. Like, I don't know. It was just bugged out to me, but it worked. And now I love the song. It's great.
So tell me about the main source. How'd you guys come together?
Main source was a high school bunch of high school kids who were like bedroom DJs. We all bedroom DJs at the time. Like I'm getting busy. Like I'm at my crib getting busy. We all had turntables. And so like, yo, you come over to my house with your records, I come over to your house with my records, and we get busy. And I tried my hand at all of these different things. So when it just became too many DJs, it was like, all right, well, you guys DJ and I'll rap. And then the drum machines came into play and we were all into that. So it was just like a musical mixture from high school that started from that high school energy, that young high school energy.
Nice. You guys were working on Breaking Atoms. Do you have any idea that you're working on a classic at the time?
I mean, when you shoot your shot, you think you're going like, yo, we gonna rock them. Like, I wasn't in there like, oh, this me now. It was like, yo, now we gonna rock them. We gonna get them. So yeah, definitely, man. Like and especially with the groundbreaking techniques I learned from my man Paul C, and chopping samples and getting loops. It was just like I was amazed myself. Like, oh man, I could get this loop out of here, like that kind of. So it was maybe the techniques and the technology that kind of boosted my confidence, our confidence with that, because it was like this new thing of chopping records up and getting phrases out of records. It's like, man, they don't even know the record, number one, and then we getting a phrase out of it. Number two, it was just like the technology was what kind of, had us sticking our chest out like, yo, you don't even know this record. And then we put this song together to it. Just crazy. So definitely, man, we felt like we was going to get them.
Nice. Now, being a producer, rapper, and DJ, do those all tie well together?
Yeah, they do in a way, because now you have your opinion or you have your edge on what should be what with each category. So it's like, all right, for rhymes, if this beat is happy, I might want to counter that beat with like a grave subject or something, just to kind of, so it's just different things that factor in to, yeah, definitely.
Okay. So in the mid 90s, you go solo. What is the goal from leaving a group to being a solo act? Do you try to change your identity a little bit? Or are you trying to just show everybody how talented you are on your own?
Yeah, a combination of the two, because if you self-sufficient, it's like, all right, well, I can do the beat and do the rhyme. I found out as the industry started turning into teams, and it was like, this was when, that wasn't at that time the best move for me, even though I had a different team, but they weren't like the same. It wasn't like as musical. These were my guys from around the way. So it really was me at the helm of it and just doing everything, which at the time, I don't think the industry really, it was like, oh, this guy thinks he can, that kind of thing. So, but it was just such a good feeling to know, all right, cool. I'm spearheading this for me and my team, my crew, but it's these are my ideas, and I get them all out, from the beat to the rhyme to the scratch and everything. There's no one to say, oh no, I don't like that. It's just a liberating feeling.
So how do you handle that when you're a group, when you guys have different opinions? Do you have to kind of compromise, or are you strong on your opinion where you almost don't want to give in?
Yeah, well, see, that was me. I was the problem, because I'm like, nah, that shit is whack. Nah, take that out of there. You may be hurting someone's feelings. So that was the thing. It was like, all right, cool. If you feel like you're that dude, and you're all right, so you do everything. And so when I got, the chance, I did. But yeah, no, that's just a hip hop thing, man. That's just a hip hop thing. Like, dudes will snap on you. They will say like, yeah, that shit is whack or whatever, and I held that custom like throughout the time. It's like, yo, that's just what it is. Or
Now, has somebody ever said to you, friend, family member, that something you made was whack, and how did you handle that?
nah, my family, they knew, like, because it was still amazing. It was like, oh man, you filtered this and you slowed that down. But it was the industry that told me, like, yo, nah, that shit is whack. Like, and that's, it can make you feel away, because, you definitely want to sell records. You dealing with record companies and everything. And when the radio stations are not playing it, and the DJs are acting like they're not feeling it, like, yo, what's going on? This is so. It was the industry that told me, like, yo, but my people were behind me 100%. Like, yeah, that's fire. And, you just got to wait to see that. You got to live to see the day where that confidence you had comes out, and people, I mean, well, I've been dealing with records, like collecting meters records, all of these types of things. Like, I started, and these records were 20 years old when I loved them. So that element kind of came into play. It's like, all right, they're not going to instantly get this, man. You're going to have to live to see the day where 10, 15, 20 years from now, it'll dawn on like, nah, this shit was hot right here. Like, yo, this dude is ill. He was ill. And so that kind of applied to me too. Cause the records I was digging into and kind of catching were 20, 25-year-old records that weren't as revered back then, but now they're like gold. So, that kind of thing happened to me too.
Sure. Probably my favorite song, at least in terms of you being a solo artist, is Just Wanna Chill. Tell me about that classic.
Oh man, I just want to chill was me going through my industry phase again. I'm got gripes with because you come in like in the music in general, you just like, yo, I have skills. I'm skilled at this. Like I'm nice with this. Like that was the part. That's all. That was the requisite for the part. It was like, yo, you gotta be nice, and that's it. And then now you get into this industry where it's like, we don't care about your skills. How much of those records selling? Like that kind of thing. So it was like, wow, like, hold on. Like, I'm actually doing something better than this, coming from the parks. But it was just me going through my industry gripes. Yeah, it was such a shock for me. Cause even in the main source days, I'm kind of beefing about this new industry thing. Like, oh man, like they're playing this whack record all day and they're not playing our record. We got the park skills, we got everything covered of real hip hop, and we still not getting a break. So it was just an extension of that, like more industry shock. I don't want to ill, I just want to chill. Like I don't want to. Yeah, like yeah, I don't want to be beefing with the record company. I just want to chill and for them to respect and go out with the same confidence that I do with my music, and not like, oh, you know, you just see people when the records are not selling or it's not picking up or it's not going the way, they just start kind of, I don't know, losing faith a little bit. And it's like, damn,
Sure.
man, like, I don't want ill. I just want chill. Shit, I don't know.
You could think of countless times where you hear something on the radio or MTV or BET that's played all the time, then you'll hear
Yeah,
something, you see the video once or twice, like, this is much better than such and such song. Why do you think that is,
exactly.
where someone's got much more talent than someone that's getting all the airplay?
But I mean, that has nothing to do with the receptance of the crowd. Like, all the people were there. So, if the people, if the crowd, if they like that song, there's nothing you can do with that. You just got to go in, make something else, or go to the region, or, service the region that may be hip and like, we rock with you, like kind of thing. Like that's the thing about the industry. You never know where you're strong at. Like, yo, this song plays crazy in the Bay Area. Like that kind of thing. Like, so once you start finding those things out, and all right, cool, I'm popping somewhere. Like one thing that helped me a lot was when we started doing like the industry slowed down for my era, and we started doing shows overseas and going to Japan, Germany, and like constantly, like, damn, I'm going to Germany again. Like they must really, and so that kind of boosted my confidence back up because it was like, yo, somewhere in this world, the world just it got smaller, but it grew. And for me, it was like, nah, it's not just New York now. Like we're gonna be going to Germany like 25 times this year, kind of thing. So that was a good thing. Get me back. Like, all right, this was not in vain. It definitely stuck. So,
Definitely. As a body of work, do you have a favorite project you've worked on?
yo, just the whole everything because it's like it's still going and it's everything from main source to first class to breaking. To main source. I made an album named Main Source.
Yeah.
Professor at Large. You know, yo, it's just all of it, man. All of it. All of it.
How has the large professor changed from the late 80s, 90s to today, potentially?
I haven't changed much. I try to keep it the same because I know as the industry keeps turning, and people start liking the authentic sound again, and it starts coming back around. So I never really wanted to go out there and reach too much because I knew that I wouldn't be being true to myself. So I kind of stayed the same, but just moved to the regions where I could do that. Like, all right, cool, they filming us in Japan. Let's go out there. We're going to Finland today. We're going to damn Abu Dhabi and Australia, all these places. So it's like, wow, man. Like, it was more, don't change, just go to the region where they rocking with you.
Nice. I like it. Well, Large Professor, absolute pleasure talking to you. How can fans follow you, and anything else you'd like to promote?
Oh man, well, we have a new project, Extra Exotic. I have with my friend Nick Exotic coming out very soon. Like I said, I just finished a nice production for my man Pat Moose. Got a compilation coming. They can follow it on Instagram at XP Large Pro. I'm Large Pro on Facebook, artist, and just always check for that the real hip hop. That's the stuff that'll get you going through the day, man. That real hip hop. And peace and blessings.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.